Oh, thank you, Adrian.
Oh, they
You
do.
in charge of the door from now on.
Yes, sir. So it's gonna beat up the short timers. Huh?
For 2 months.
Ready, Chris?
Good to go.
Good to go. Okay, now call the meeting, Portland County Board of Commissioners, Board of State Advisory for flag completions, flag. And moment of silence and prayer.
Father, we thank you for each mind and heart that fills the presence of this room, as well as the lives that we will encounter afterwards. Set us free from comparison in order to work together efficiently. For only you truly know what we are setting out to accomplish today. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of preparing accurate written minutes. Recordings are overwritten following approval of the minutes, eliminating all unofficial records of these proceedings. The first item is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held October 19th, 2023.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes, before we move on to just a brief apology for last week's prayer when I misspoke and said Syria instead of Israel and the victims of that war. I apologize for that mistake. It was not done intentionally. It was impromptu prayer. We pray for the innocent victims of that war. Not only that war with Ukraine, and now we have to pray for those victims in Maine. I don't even have all those details yet, but it's just a crazy world that we live in. And one thing I want to point out, it does show the definite need, apparently, from the incident last evening in Maine, that there is definitely more work have to be done on the mental health issues in this country. That's all I have. This time, before I start going to public guests, I'd like to call on Jen Fritzinger. Or
It's okay.
Jen, do you want to talk a little bit about our issue with the elections and what our problem is?
Yes, I'm in dire need of poll workers. There would be the clerks. We have enough judges right now. But we're looking for clerks at the moment. I think there's 6, 8, 10 that we need in East Penn, East Side Borough, Lower Tomensing, Palmerton, Summit Hill, and Weisport. So we need at least one more in each of them, if not 2. The day is the cost or the wages for the person that works that day is $175 per day. And it also, the only requirements that we ask or that is needed is that they need to be registered as a voter in Carbon County. So, but we are in desperate need. If anybody needs to call us, the number 570-325-4801. And just give us a call and we can hook you up and train you before the day, November 7th.
You need to tell me that, any questions? The
The only question I have is how is the prep work going for the upcoming membership?
The prep work is going great. We have 2 seasonals that we are working with us right now. Our poll books are being sent out today from the state system. We should receive them within the next 3 days. They usually have a good turnaround to coming back to us. So that's the only thing that we're waiting for to put in our bags, and then we are good as gold.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And I do have a copy of that, the municipalities are about the local area. But Rachel, anything for the? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, concerning county business at this time. What?
I'm here to hear the resolution.
Any other guests concerning county business this time?
Hmm.
Hearing none, we'll move on.
Okay, the next item is the opening of bids for the CDBG project. First project is Franklin Township Water Sewer Improvement. Red Hill Road, Phase 2, fiscal year 2020, 2020, 2021, and 2022. And our first bidder is Lehigh Asphalt Paving and Construction Company.
Hmm.
The amount bid $420,605.70.
There is a bond for 10% of the bid.
The next bidder is Barker and Barker Paving and Excavating of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Total amount bid $374,783.95.
On for 10%.
The next and last bidder for this project is Bruce George Paving and Excavating of Hunkeldown, Pennsylvania. Total amount bid $335,034.52.
There was a bond for 10% of the amount paid.
So move the table for a period of not more than 2 weeks for the planning office to review the lowest bid proposal.
I'll second that.
Mr. Honor?
Yeah.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Yes,
The next project is Westport Borough Water Sewer Improvements, Ford Street, White Street, fiscal year 2021. The first bidder is CMR Construction Incorporated of Easton, Pennsylvania. This one. It's sealed, okay. The total amount bid $133,600.
There was a 10% bid down.
Okay, the next bidder is Lehigh Asphalt Paving and Construction Company out of Tamaqua, Pennsylvania. The total amount bid $106,119.
There was a bond for 10%.
And the last bidder for this project is Bruce George Paving and Excavating out of Kunkatown, Pennsylvania. And the amount bid. $66,342.10.
And there is a bond for 10% of the amount due.
Move the table for a period not to exceed 2 weeks, so the planning office has a chance to review the bids.
Mr. Honor?
Yeah.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes,
Our next project is Mahoney Township Street Improvements. Center Road, Maple Drive to Willard Drive, fiscal years 2019, 20, 21, and 22. And our first bidder is Recon Construction Services Incorporated of York, Pennsylvania. Still haven't found the bid yet. Okay. Looks like they submitted a different bid sheet. But the amount listed is $110,329.75.
And there is a bond for 10%.
Next bidder is Lehigh Asphalt Paving and Construction Company of Tamaka, Pennsylvania. Total amount bid $152,599.75.
There is a bond for 10%.
And the last bidder, Barker and Barker Paving and Excavating out of Bethlehem. Total amount bid $128,235.
There is a bond for 10%.
I move that we we go ahead and table for a period not to exceed 2 weeks to allow the planning office to assess the bids.
I'll second that.
Mr. Honor? Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
The next item that is listed on the agenda for bid opening is Lehigh Borough demolition. This is a clerical error. This project has not been put out to bid yet. Okay. The proposed 2024 budgets. Operating funds. Motion to present the proposed 2024 operating funds budgets of estimated expenditures totaling $60,145,827 and make the budgets available for public inspection in the office of the county commissioners, Carbon County Administration Building, Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. until December 14th, 2023.
I'll make that motion discussion.
Second.
I just want to make a public comment, and that's what, I mean, we've been working on the budget for quite a while. And I think the answer is not automatically go to taxpayers' bank account. This year, the 0% tax increase. And within that is funds for improving operations to serve the public. And there's any salary increases I see that can be above the current rates that are currently in place. The salary should be a high priority in many departments that go to other counties. And that when we train them, some departments were paying $15,000 to train these people. And our budget for that exceeds the money that we could give them to stay here. I think that's one of the things that's, we're dragging on too long about these salaries. It's been since January already, and I don't think there's a lot resolved. And I just want to on some of these where it's projected in the budget. The courthouse project will not finish until May or June of 2025. So there's a little bit of wiggle room in there that we can do. And like I said, I think our priority is getting new things. I mean, the IT people are giving us new things that'll help each department, just on payroll report, things like that. So we are enhancing different areas. We're looking into better grants that can help the department. If you look at children and youth, I think children and youth budget has gone down a little bit, but we're always digging into the state to get more funds. I know we got a lot for the building, and we're still going to put in this for this next year's budget for their budget. I think it's almost $180,000 for repairs to the building. Now that has to be approved from the state, but there's other ways I think to get money instead of just digging into the taxpayer. And like I said, with that courthouse project, that's going to lead on to the following year. I mean, unless there's other projects that I'm not aware of, I'm okay. I think we're fine with the budget the way it is.
Comments I have, if you look at the operating budget, beginning balance at $6,947,630. And leaving an ending balance at the end of the year at $1,600,796. We are exceeding our budget, our expenditures by a total of $5,343.834. You, in this contingency that you see in the general fund balance that's set aside at $1.02 million, includes $652,000 for salaries. Now that's on top of the $800,000 that was put aside away for salaries last year. This is a reoccurring expense every year thereafter. So my point on a lot of this is the tax appeals right now. There are several large tax appeals being sent to the county or being appealed. The split rock alone, if the compromise that the school district approved is costing the county $18,000 to deduct. There are several other large appeals pending, hospital, loans, etc. And the tax revenue, I'm going to point out That is only an increase of just over $168,000 in tax revenues from the property taxes that we receive. And these appeals alone, is certainly one about that increase. And even possibly a negative return from last year. So what's happened in the last several years in 2020, 2021, what really saved the county in our expenditure was the COVID funding. So we did come up with a little bit of surplus on each of those years. In 22, that was not the case. The budget was at a negative $2,216,726. 23 budget is approximately, and that's not final yet, because we still have 2 months to go. We're looking at a $3,443,363 deficit. There's a lot of other things that are coming up this year, not only the threat of reassessment, which could be, will probably be over $6 million should we get forced into it. We are looking the open space referendum that so overwhelmingly passed. Whether we do a bond or a line of credit, that is still payments or interest that we'll be paying out and not receiving the revenue. And every week, we are passing budget increases, whether it be service contracts, computers, or whatever, and it just keeps going up. Our tax anticipation note or loan in for January to April expenses is going to be about $4 million. Now what we're doing is robbing Peter to pay Paul, because we'll take it out of the capital funds. So we pay interest there. So that's just less money, whatever our interest rate that'll be, will be less we have in the general fund to make those expenses. Can we keep doing that? I don't think so, because now we're spending down the capital fund balance. Will that money be there next year to borrow? That's another issue. It could affect our credit rating in the future. Right now, what do we have? AAA or 4A credit rating, but it could affect our credit rating. And what that does is increases the amount of interest we pay on any loans. We get notices again, all of a sudden from the state, 2 in particular I want to point out. Guess what? The state doesn't have any money to give us the $250,000 in a RACP grant towards the training center because they don't have the money. Also have a letter from the state that somewhere here that the reimbursement for our district magistrates by law that was passed in 1980, 80 and 81 was for reimbursement to the counties for this 4 district magistrate judges at 77.5%. Guess what? They don't have enough money to pay us, so they're reducing that reimbursement down below that 77.5% to 65%. So who makes up that difference? The county taxpayers. Even if we do get it passed eventually, it's still expenses we have to put out now and hope they will pass some legislative laws to Act 623, I do believe it is, or House Bill 623 concerning the budget. So those are just a few of the things that we have to deal with all the time. And like I said, the software support services, in one office alone is just over $800. And if you add up all the different offices that we have, I know the school districts are pushing for, at least one in particular, is pushing for reassessment. But that same school district wants to give away the LERTA tax, which is a tax breaks to businesses. That school district that wants to have the reassessment, it doesn't even send anybody to the tax appeal meetings to try to fight the reassessment or the reduction in assessment. The one we're going through now with Split Rock is taking it down, and it has been negotiated. The appeal they got was just over, or the assessment they got was over $4 million. But the school district negotiated an agreement at $6.5 million. And that just that alone is the $18,000 loss that I'm talking about. So my question to the other commissioners, what is your plan going forward for the following years? Because we cannot keep spending like this without doing something for the future. So I would like, what is your plan for years 25, 26, and 27 for the next 3 years if you don't do an increase this year?
I hear Commissioner Nostein's concern, and I agree with him that the contingency is excessive. And I suspect what we'll do when it comes to salaries, we'll continue to place present showing up for work over performance. I will say also that, in a 7-year span from 2013 to 2020, the chair of this board led a historical tax increase since 1843, 68.7% tax increase. Commissioner Arner and I have worked to rebalance the tax revenues with expenditures to the best of our ability. I will also challenge my colleagues. When we look at the capital funds project, we have $4.3 million available. Our expected expenditures are $1.2 million beyond that which is available. Yet they continue to support a $500,000 expenditure for the movement, unnecessary movement of the clerk of court's office. So again, we tend to be talking out of both sides of our mouth. I have seen nothing over the past 3 years and 10 months that has showed a conscious effort by the chair to increase revenues other than taxes. He has consistently sought a tax increase for the last 3 years while resisting the opportunities to examine even a senior tax rebate in 2020 and 2021 when it was offered. I suspect that $1.2 million that we're going to expend for capital, that would take the reserve or the carryover at the end of the year to about 2.9, almost $3 million. And again, I see some exaggeration in the amount that may be needed for a tax anticipation note. And I know that the county residents are extremely grateful that last year, in lieu of a tax increase, we spent a minuscule one-time amount to cover a short period in which incoming tax would not otherwise have covered the short-term expenditures that we have. So I'll continue to stand by this budget, at least for operating funds. And I know that Commissioner Arner himself will be looking at one of the issues that we do have, and that has been the notable increase in regards to prison operating expenses. And I look forward to seeing the results of his work on that. That's all I have.
I would like to point out your comments regarding the tax abatement for citizens, seniors. They already received that, and you show me law where we could do better than that. The other issue I want to point out, you keep saying about how I had to increase taxes, but you failed to mention the fact that we did eliminate the occupational tax, which was a tax reduction. So therefore, we had to make that up somewhere else. The sale of Weatherwood, I see a pattern here where the sale of Weatherwood was supposed to be put aside, that funding, and for special uses. And what was it used for? For balancing the budget. Our increases, our expenses have been going up over the years. And I just oppose this because it's not going to hit now, but in the next 2-3 years, there's gonna have to be a drastic change on our budgeting process and what our expenditure.
Commissioner Nosey, I would expect then, when you mention the utilization of Weatherwood funds, I guess you appear to say it was segregated for a specific purpose and then was diverted for other uses. So when we come to the capital projects fund, I'm going to ask you to vote no about the existing capital projects fund, because what has been sought for this year is to divert $1.1 to $1.2 million from the parking fund, which at least during this board's time has been totally focused on parks and parking. And now we want to take that to cover unnecessary expenses in the capital projects fund. So I look forward to seeing your vote on the next motion.
Well, yeah, I agree with that 100%. As far as taking it out of that parking lot fund, I certainly oppose that as well, because you're the one fund that we have that we can fall back on if need be that parking lot fund. And that's what has been occurring. You keep taking from all these funds and going back to the budgeting from the state as well. And they pass their budget. They have been stealing from the tobacco settlement, EMS fund, the fireman's relief fund. So only a small percent of that money gets into the hands of the volunteers for which that bill was passed. If you read that bill, you see so many things in those budgets that they're stealing. And the argument I get when talking to our legislators are, well, they didn't use the money. Well, give me that below. That money is there and you have not put it out there for our people to spend. The money you have, the promises you make, just like the judges, you know, reimbursement there, that's their law. They can break the laws. We can't.
Mhm.
Okay, gentlemen, may I pull the board?
Good.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
No,
The next item is the capital project fund. Motion to present for public inspection the proposed 2024 capital project funds budget of estimated expenditures totaling $5,500,000 and make the budgets available as stipulated above.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
No.
Mr. Lukasevich?
No.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Special funds. Motion to present for public inspection the proposed 2024 special funds budgets of estimated expenditures totaling $8,156,441 and make the budgets available as stipulated above.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
no,
The report of executive sessions held.
there was one executive session held on Friday, the 20th at 1 p.m. for personnel.
Department reports, the budget transfers.
Move to approve.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes,
There are no supplemental appropriations. Expenditures, approval of payroll check numbers 75578 through 75594. And direct deposit check numbers 6058204 through 6058633. For the payroll paid to the payroll fund checking account for all county funds totaling $664,356.22. This is the payroll dated October 20th, 2023.
Motion ratified.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Approval of check numbers 239-282 through 239-383 for expenditures to the general fund clearing account totaling $498,865.25.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The treasurer's report?
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The personnel report for county departments.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The acknowledgements for courts and row officers.
Motion acknowledged.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Correspondence was received as listed. Copies will be made available to address upon request. The coroner's office for approval and execution, a grant agreement between the County of Carbon and the Pennsylvania Department of Health Office of Drug Surveillance and Misuse Prevention to obtain coroner reports and toxicology reports for overdose deaths, violent deaths, and maternal deaths in Carbon County. Grant amount is $10,000.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
District Court. Approval and execution lease agreement with Pitney Bowes for Zenpro C Series Version 4 mailing processing system for the Lansford District Court Office 56-3-03. Term is 60 months, January 1, 2024, and terminating January 1, 2029. Billed quarterly at a cost of $193.11. Proposal is in accordance with Pennsylvania State Contract 44,000,15965. Represents a decrease of $4.65.
Motion approved and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Information technology for ratification. A quote received from Dell Technologies of Red Rock, Texas, to purchase the CrowdStrike Falcon Complete antivirus system at a total cost of $25,932 and CrowdStrike Express Support, excuse me, at a cost of $3,221.66 for a total of $29,153.66 for 1-year term through the National Cooperative Purchasing Alliance.
Move to ratify.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Winslow Technology for approval and execution. A quote was received from Winslow Technology Group of Waltham, Maine for a backup system upgrade for a Power Protect BP 4400 software upgrade at a cost of $7,436 and 2 years of pro support plus mission critical upgrade software at a cost of $2,398 for a total cost of $9,834.
Motion approved and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Lanta, the MATP program for approval and execution. The 2023-2024 first quarter MATP report for submission to the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services as prepared by Lanta.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Open Space Advisory Board for approval. The Carbon County Open Space Advisory Board bylaws as submitted.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Service agreement for approval and execution, the software maintenance agreement with Esri Incorporated of Redlands, California for the year 2024. Listing charges as follows: assessment office, $440. Elections, $330. Liquid fuels, $11,990. 911, $3,850. For a total cost of $16,610. This represents an increase of $1,510.
Motion approved.
Second,
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
The solicitor's report?
Thank you. Under refuse collection and single stream recycling, seeking a motion for approval and execution of amendment number 1 to the contract with Casella Waste Systems Incorporated, dated June 8th, 2023. That during the months of June, July, and August, the contract should be amended to provide for regularly scheduled twice weekly pickups at the 3 specified Mock Chunk Lake Park, Harbin County Environmental Education Center, and Parking Lot B locations every Monday and Thursday for that period, June 1st through August 31st each year for the remaining duration of the contract and any extensions. All of the other terms of the contract are unaffected and shall continue in full force and effect.
Move to approve and execute,
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Next, first of 2 resolutions, seeking a motion to adopt resolution 35 of 2023 to approve the emergency purchase of a replacement generator for the Carbon County 911 Communications Center. Motion done.
Second,
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
And next, seeking a motion to adopt resolution 36 of 2023, acknowledging and concerning the land application of sewage sludge within Carbon County. Motion done.
Second,
Your Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Excuse me, could
sorry.
somebody read it?
Yeah, he's.
I'll read it into the record. Whereas the Carbon County Board of Commissioners is aware that sewage sludge is currently marketed as fertilizer for landscaping and for agriculture and distributed in Carbon County for residential and agricultural use. And whereas the Carbon County Board of Commissioners is aware that sewage sludge is spread at locations within Carbon County and if not properly managed and treated, may be detrimental to our natural environment and citizens. And whereas sewage sludge is malodorous, attracting flies, rodents, and other vectors, if not properly managed and treated. And whereas the Carbon County Board of Commissioners has been informed that this sewage sludge, if not properly managed and treated, has been shown to contain bacteria such as salmonella and E. coli, and parent worms and viruses such as COVID and monkeypox, heavy metals, pharmaceuticals, and cancer-causing forever chemicals called PFAs, as well as other contaminants which are not eliminated by the treatment applied to the Class B sewage sludge, which is being distributed in Carbon County. And whereas the Carbon County Board of Commissioners has been informed of studies that if not properly managed and treated, sewage sludge may result in water well contamination and impact the health of farmers using sewage sludge, as well as residents who are exposed to sewage sludge. And whereas the Board of Commissioners recognizes the necessity of Pennsylvania's Right Farm Act and its purposes to conserve, protect, and encourage the development and improvement of agricultural lands. And whereas current state law prevents municipalities as the local government entities which are closest to their citizens from adopting meaningful regulation of the land application of sewage sludge within their borders. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Carbon County Board of Commissioners calls upon our federal and state elected officials in consultation with and in consideration of the interests of local governments, citizens, private enterprise, and farmers to study the current laws concerning land application of sewage sludge and to enact, as may be necessary, stronger and more effective regulations upon its manufacture and use. And be it further resolved that the Carbon County Board of Commissioners calls upon oversight agencies at the federal and state levels to incentivize and encourage private industry and research organizations within and outside of government to develop technologies, processes, and guidelines to facilitate the elimination of PFAs and other contaminants at their point of origin. duly adopted at the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners at the County of Carbon, this 26th day of October 2023.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And lastly, under tax assessment, seeking a motion for approval and payment of a refund of county real estate taxes to Patrick Wade Sieverts concerning 2 parcels of real estate located in Lower Torrington Township due to a board appeal lowering the assessment. The decrease in assessment on both parcels is $71,708, and the taxes were paid in the discount period, resulting in a total refund due of $860.85.
Second,
Mr. Honor?
Yeah.
Mr. Lukasevich?
yes.
Mr. Nostine?
Yes,
Nothing further for the solicitor's report.
Any further business? Hearing none, Commissioners reports, Mr. Honor?
None at this time.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yeah, a couple of quick things. The Open Space Advisory Board meeting for 7 November, that location will change from 44 Susquehanna to the Commissioners' conference room. Want to reemphasize my gratitude to Sinagro, local farmers, citizens who've come to speak before the Board of Commissioners and privately, and the team at Jim Thorpe's sewage operation plant for helping me better understand the biosolid issue and hopefully give some value added to the document resolution we just passed. I did see an email from the park director that the new restrooms out at Boat Launch B were delivered and installed yesterday. Backfilling and grading will occur today. It is possible that Boat Launch B, at least the facilities there, will remain closed. But Boat Launch B remains open. And I did want to, reiterate what Commissioner Notstein said about, we've already made some commitments with the funds, the $10 million that we have the flexibility to use. And we've already made a $1 million commitment to ag land preservation. And given the passage of the bylaws and other documents that are going to come before us in the following weeks and months, we can expect that those funds will start to be utilized next year. And we will have to start paying the cost of that measure that was passed by well over 80% of the voting public. That's all I have.
first of all, I'd like to add a little bit that $10 million in that land preservation park preservation will certainly bring in a lot more matching grants, et cetera. It could wind up to be what, 10, 20 million dollars above that 10 million. So we are certainly leveraging a lot of possible funds by going through this process. The things I want to mention, again, the covered bridge was whacked again yesterday. Hopefully we have the perpetrator or the responsible party. I'm waiting to hear officially. I went down myself. I was on the way to Palmer for an appointment anyway. Stopped by, took off 3 of the chains, ripped them off. I want to thank Commencing Township. The bar was hanging down. It didn't hit the steel beam or the bridge, but it hit the headache bar. And you can see by the marks on the bar, and certainly you can see it was hit several times. And in talking so I got there, Commencing Township, Commencing Township crew was there repairing the chains for us, placing it up, and we pointed out that they're running out of hooks and replacement parts. And I said to the gentleman, look, we got to report it to us when you're out there repairing this for us. We can't help you if you don't let us know. I told them they should be submitting us a bill to us. They were out there with their bucket truck. They had 3 people there, especially when we get the responsible parties. I appreciate their cooperation and being on the spot there. It saved us from going down immediately. Took a lot of pictures. Hopefully our maintenance people to get the materials and go down there and repair that today. But if you go down and look at the covered bridge on the far side of the covered bridge, where the covered bridge in, you can see the big bow in the steel I-beam that we put there to protect the bridge where somebody hit it on that side. Well, it's occurring on both sides of it. Really want to thank the lower township, Lincoln Township road crew for being out there and helping us out tonight. Certainly, I hope, and I think both of you agree with it. They need to send us an invoice and we can submit for insurance and to the person responsible. One other thing I wanted to mention, tomorrow I was informed by the borough mayor that the weekend traffic patterns will go in effect from 9 a.m. to about 4 p.m. because of the large amount of traffic that we have going through Jim Thorpe right now. So that will be going into effect. It will be open up in time for our employees to leave it. I hope 4 o'clock because we have the train coming back about that time. So we not only have the employees, but the people riding the train leaving at that time. When I left to go to the at the public bridge about 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon, the traffic when we backed up halfway to the bagel bunch on top of the hill coming from that direction. So not only a problem on weekends anymore, it's a problem during the week. But the other thing I want to point out real quick here is our longest current serving employee with 6 years of service from Jim Thorpe. Kathy Regal announced her retirement. You know, and she works in the planning and development office. And I want to congratulate Kathy on her 6 years of service and wish her the best on her retirement. Maybe we don't want to talk about the next longest serving employee. 43 years. Hey, Kelly, I hope. But yeah, so congratulations on your future title of being the longest serving employee.
Only 3 more years.
Say the wrong thing. And, pleasure having Kathy in, as well as Ellie. I've seen a lot of change here in the county over the years, and as Chris and I talked about previously when he was first coming on the board, who is the go-to person for everything in that Ellie on. So, that being said, meeting adjourned. Okay, Rachel, I'll let you go first.
Okay. I guess let's go back to the budget. When is the final getting voted in?
Right there's the guy being asked when we're looking.
I can't answer that right now because you rejected part of it,
Yeah.
so I don't know. It was scheduled to be December 14th, which was going to allow significant amount of time longer than normal. We were going to have it posted to allow all the salary board executive sessions to occur related to salaries. But the rejection of the capital project piece, I need to have a discussion with the solicitor and the county administrator and find out how we go forward with that. Right? I am correct that the capital project piece got voted down.
Correct.
Thank you. So
Hopefully the 21st, here goes our next week.
it'll still, if you would, as the board adopted the proposed capital project budgets within the next few weeks,
Yeah.
you could still meet the December 14th for
It's
adopting.
21
the
days,
final.
it has to be.
Correct.
Okay, so we still have that time.
So is there a timeline then for how quickly a new projected budget for the capital?
I need to work with the commissioners after, I need to meet with the commissioners and determine that. I wasn't prepared to be able to answer that question.
And then Wayne, you did reject the operating funds part of the budget, is that correct?
What's that question?
You rejected the
No,
operating funds, what part was?
Green voted no, that would be correct.
I go with it.
Yes, okay.
it was 2-1.
Yeah, can you kind of tell me why?
Well, I'd like to know where the funds are coming from because our beginning balance is just $606,927,000. The ending balance is then projected to be 1.6 million. So my question is, what are you gonna do in 25, 26, 27 where are you gonna get that money from to make up that fund? Even, I don't know, we're not gonna be able to cut that much out of future, but that is for sure. And especially with, the tax appeals and everything else that we're facing, the increased cost of doing business is not going to go away, even if the salaries have now been, well, that 800,000, the other 652,000 has not been committed yet. But unless we do no raises, that money's gonna be in the budget for future years. And how do you make up that total $1.4 million then? Missing salary. So how are you gonna make up that funding? That's why I voted no there. What is the plan to make up that funding for 25, 26, and 27?
Do you think there needs to be a tax increase?
I'm gonna leave that up to my two commissioners that are always condemning me for that.
I will tell you again, there are your options in lieu of a tax increase. You raise non-tax revenue or you decrease spending. There's the answer. There's the solution.
Some of it. But it's still not enough in my opinion to make that up. I mean, we can increase certain fees, but you know what the battle and what my battle has been on the Act 12, the 911 funding and how that's costing us. And if that doesn't get passed, a lot of it hinges on the state and what they passed. The other big questions I mentioned briefly earlier in the meeting that about the mental health issues getting worse all the time. Our expenses keep going up in the prison in particular for the mental health. And these are all costs and things that we have to address. Now, some of that we're hoping to use out of the pharmaceutical settlement funds, the opioid funds. We're hoping to make up some of that funding in courts as well in the prison and drug and alcohol program. So we're working on that how can we legally spend those funds, because it's really tight what you can and can't. There you go. Amy.
Good morning, gentlemen. Just to clarify, so Commissioner Noson said about the beginning balance is 6.9, ending balance is 1.6. So does that mean you guys are taking in this budget will be a 5.3 million that you're taking from the general fund balance?
Right. We're taking that money out of the general fund to pay the bills, and that general fund will have approximately 1.6 million at the end of the year. So my question is, how are we gonna make that up in the next 3 years?
But that's.
Okay, that's what I was
Going back to how the budgets are run. And we don't get our taxes in until, what is it, Jeff? Like usually
May.
we go in April. So
May.
it's every year this happens, and I want to go back to like even the budget itself. We're getting recommendations from people. If you ask about the prison, we have to start watching our vendors that are here. In fact, Chris brought it to my attention like 2 months and the prison board did. That we have a reduction in population in the prison, but our bills have gone up. And yes, there was an increase, but we just got to watch our budget there. And I don't think we're doing enough of that. Here are the IT people, they come in. We have it on here. I know everybody's calling about computer, $800 for a laptop. They came to the recommendation to pay $50 for a hard drive to be put in. Do we have to have these things every 3 years? And we're looking at these, that we want to give people salaries, higher salaries, but every day we waste money. And that got to stop. And making excuses for it is not the thing. Just like these capital projects, what I said, the capital project, we will never spend that much money over there in the courthouse. Impossible. So what kind of projects are going to be done this year that we need that full amount in there? I don't know. We renovated this building. We got children and youth down there that's getting funded. We did 76 building. We did the 44 building. What project do we need that extra $2 million for? I don't get it. We got estimates or we got our bids in. So why do we need it? And I don't know what Chris has in mind for that, but we don't need that much money in there. Keep it. for the next year. And that's how we're gonna take care of the taxes the following year, by not spending as much as what we've been doing. You know, and like this contingency, like, I don't get it. I just don't. I don't know how we're spending so much money on contingency. Now, we still have money in that contingency fund. I'd like to see that go away from the operating cost that's in contingency and give more to the salaries. Like, why are we doing that? We have to watch what we're doing. We're doing projects that we're doing blacktopping and everything that's coming out of, I hear every week that the parking fund is growing. Then use some of that for the projects that help the taxpayer. Plain and simple as that.
Point out here, talking about the contingency or I'm not following that $400,000 you mentioned, we gotta wait for taxes, that's already in the taken into account in the budget and why we have to do that loan, so I'm not too sure what you mean there. And the other thing, you're pointing out the, well, my train of thought there again, but I don't know where you're getting that $2 million alone, and that's a contingency. In that contingency of 1 some million dollars, 1.2 roughly, you're looking at 625,000 towards salaries. That's what's put in there, and 450,000 for contingency. What our issue here, the things that crop up that we don't know about. The elevator, it's recommended we look at a new elevator within the next couple of years, because this is the second time this year. It broke down, they can't get parts, they send the computer board out to someone, hopefully that can fix it. So that's why we have that contingency. If you look with the motion we passed today for the generator at the 911 center, which is, it's an allowable expense, but now that's at $80,000 or whatever the price is to get that new generator. You're taking from Act 12, now you're taking that money out of the funds used for the operation of that training, not the training center, but the comm center. That's to provide additional radio coverage. And I don't know if the other two are hearing the complaints on radio reception in different areas. That's what the funds are. Now we have to deal it to replace a generator. So, you know, it's just a vicious cycle. We do need somewhat of a contingency for those unknowns that crop up all the time. We don't know when certain things are going to break down. What did it cost us for the elevator replacement in the courthouse? You know, it's well over $100,000. So, okay, so if we do that this year, if we have to, if we can't get it fixed, boom, half that contingency is gone on one issue. And a lot of times we'll say no to budget items. No, we're not going to buy you a new printer. If your printer breaks, we'll buy you one. It's in contingency. So there's a lot of little things that add up in a hurry that 400,000 could be done by the time we get out of the meeting here, you know, or the end of January, because you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, if I could comment, I want to, Commissioner Arner is right. I know Commissioner Notstein, and we all agree in some measure on this. We are very fortunate with our parking fund, and I totally agree that some portion of that should be used for day-to-day operational costs, not outside of the realms of parking. I do believe that should be codified by resolution, though. Certain percentages continue to set aside for parks and parking, and the other, as Commissioner Arner mentioned, be utilized to help us keep taxes down. But I just want to ensure that we're not raiding the parking fund when we're potentially acting irresponsibly when it comes to the budget. And Commissioner Notstein had mentioned going up the Mansion House the other day and the traffic backed up to the Perch. I want to emphasize for those few citizens who refuse to see the positives of the tourism in our county seat, Jim Thorpe and the county, and only see the negatives, right? That parking revenue balance, that hotel tax that comes back to the county and allows us to increase, maintain the services that we provide is significant. So again, I know there's this discomfort that we see mostly in this month, but again, I want the public to recognize tourism matters. It helps keep all of our taxes down. So we have to be cognizant of that. That's all I have.
I would agree with a certain percentage coming out of the parking towards the operations because and I don't know what percent that would be.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those people coming in are not for tourism, they're here for court, the attorneys, the people coming in for the court system, et cetera, who are other county offices, which they do offer free parking during time. But I agree that the parking lot, you should set aside a certain percent next year. I think we have to try to guesstimate, I think less than 10% really is on county business and then the other 9% is tourism. So I would agree to that part of it as well. And, you know, and you say about raising that fund, maybe we could possibly do something in the future if we build it up to increase parking spaces, because over the past several years, which I'm certainly against moving for, you know, paying parking and that, but it's great revenue source. It's good for the businesses in Jimsdorf. Maybe not for some of the residents, but yeah, but it is a good source, and maybe we can develop a better plan for transportation and parking here in Jimsdorf in future fund. I know a lot of people would like to see a parking garage. My question is, in the 2 to 3 years that it would take to build a parking garage here, where are you going to park? Which is compounding the situation. So I think it's enough. Beat that horse enough, I think. Well, the other questions?
I'm not done beating the horse. So help me out here. Is this a balanced budget? Is there a deficit that then you have to take from? Where are we here?
The expenditures exceed the revenues in the general fund by a little over $5.3 million that is being taken from the beginning fund balance
Okay,
to balance the budget.
okay. Just wanted to make sure I had that correct. We kind of went on a roundabout. Now a question in regards to that 911 fee, if that sunsets and
On
you
January
talk,
31st.
so you spoke about the contingency. Would that money to fund the 911 then come from that? Or is that
Yeah,
built
if
into the
that
budget?
goes away, if we don't get that funding, that comes out of the general fund as well.
And I think it goes back to it. What are our legislators doing for us? This is key. This is like probably the biggest piece of legislature that they're gonna pass. And why are they passing it on to the counties? I don't get, you know, there's all kinds of bills. There's hundreds of bills all year. And this is one of the most critical ones that affects every county for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they lay it on the table. You know, like, what are you doing? Do you want to actually help the counties, or do you want to hinder them? Do you want to put them further in debt? You know, and that's what it is. I think the public has to call the legislators and say, you know, what are you doing? You know, that's the bottom line.
What we have done, we did send a letter to our legislators to the CCAP 911 people. We sent a letter. I went to the County Fire Association meeting, asked for the fire chief, sent a letter to all these people and expressing the dire need of improved communication, because this current frequency, there's talk of going digital, which has pros and cons. That's going to be a huge expense. We talked about we talked to Senator Mastriano, who was against the fee bill because he sees it as a tax increase. And my argument is, if you don't raise the taxes, that means I have to raise the taxes. Just because you don't want to see a fee increase. We still have to pay the bill. We still have to have a 911 center. Yeah, there are things in the works to try to switch sharing of expenses with this recent outage we talked about before with the phone thing. The generator, we have to have those backup systems in place, but without that, fee bills, and they're supposed to act on it again next week. And we were asked to contact our legislators again. One of the things we did do, I was on a conference call with some people with the Mastriano's office, CCAP, the veterans and the emergency management end of it, who was pushing this, Senator Argo and some other key people from Schuylkill County. And pushing this, why it is so important that this bill gets passed, at what we're requesting at $2.30. You ever hear we hear complaints about taxes all the time, but how many complain about the $2.30 or the $1.65 currently you're paying on your phone lines, computer lines, etc. It's for public, that's where that money should go, and it should stay there, not be stolen by other entities.
Yeah, and you have so many fees on your phone bill that nobody questions, but the 911 fee is being questioned. There shouldn't even be a question about that.
That evening, we had a Northeast Pennsylvania Alliance board meeting, which I sit on the chairs of the 7 counties are on that board. And we brought that subject up along with Commissioner Alcottage and Commissioner Williams, I believe it was from Lycoming County. We're at that meeting and we had talked about to all the businesses and the people in the Northeast Pennsylvania Alliance, about 40 members, and got their support, and they are sending a letter to the legislators because they know communications are important to them as well as to the commissioner. So we're getting out there, we're pushing, getting others, encouraging others to write those letters. Squeaky wheel gets the oil, correct? So we get out there, push, we ask all the fire companies and fire chiefs, county fire association, and police are also sending a letter to their association. So things don't get done unless enough people do something about it and get out there and make those phone calls.
Okay. Under the correspondence, the letter that you guys received from the governor's office, how does that affect you for the rest of this year? With the governor and the capital project funding?
Well, that's a good point there. It's another one of those, that's $250,000 we're waiting for, and we're finally finalizing that project was for the training center. And it's unbelievable, the amount of, they're arguing over 1 or 2 pennies in a paycheck. We had to write it. I guess one of the contractors had to write out a check for less than $1 because the pay was off for a couple of pennies. And it's stuff like that. It's called Sand Tech, is the company we have to deal with, who reviews all this stuff. I would certainly like to know how much it's costing the state to pay these people to do all these audits. The paperwork is horrendous and it does nothing but increase the cost at the state level. It has taken up so much of our time, our contractors' time. Supposedly now they're working on simplifying the process. Apparently they've got enough complaints, but unless they pass House Bill 623, they're sitting on that money, so we're out $250,000. And what does that mean to us when those savings accounts or where we're collecting interest, that's interest lost to us?
Okay, may I have a copy of that correspondence, please? And then back to one more thing. Copy of the sludge resolution. And then back to the covered bridge. So it was only the height restriction.
Only the bar was it. Yes, it tears, tore the chains off and everything, that's all.
Okay, so minimal damage this time.
This time, yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Well, you know, right, thank you.